4K Ultra High Definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Dangerous Hurricane Milton here in the Gulf of Mexico, likely to make landfall on the west coast of Florida by tomorrow night. I'll show you what they can see there.
Also, right here is a live look. I-75 in Florida right now. What a parking lot. People are evacuating as Milton barrels towards them as an extremely powerful storm. The dire warnings from officials who say people will die if they stay in those evacuation zones.
And a new round of supplies is heading to western North Carolina, this time collected right here in Wake County, where you can drop off donations for the Wake County Sheriff's Office supply drive. And not just water and non-perishable food, but they're also looking for baby supplies and also cleaning supplies and even protective gloves as western North Carolina recovers from Helene. Meanwhile, we're talking about Milton this morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hobie. Good to have you along here. Yeah, the focus shifts, but again, it's a devastating storm headed to that part of the state. It's not coming our way, though. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Look at that behind you there.
Yeah, you know, yesterday at lunchtime, you could see more of a defined eye. So it's going through a little bit of restructuring right now, but that doesn't really mean anything in terms of the fact that it's a very powerful storm. It's Cat 4 right now, likely to be Cat 5 again as it's moving right here across the northern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. Here's Cancun and Cozumel. And so they're going to have some damage there as well as it moves across those islands, or at least the tip of the peninsula there. It's 585 miles southwest of Florida, Tampa right now. Winds at 155, so that makes it a very powerful Cat 4, almost a Cat 5, likely to become Cat 5 as it continues to move across the Gulf, and then potentially Cat 3 as it makes landfall. But obviously that number doesn't make that much difference. We're going to see as much as 10 to 15 feet of storm surge on the west coast of Florida, and that is going to be most likely deadly, unfortunately. It moves on out, and it continues to stay south of North Carolina. We may see a few clouds. We could have some light showers along the coast. We're going to go into details of what we could see here. But of course, hurricane warning in effect for that west coast of Florida with major hurricane force winds, a lot of rain, and just that very deadly storm surge. That's going to be a big deal for them. We're mostly clear. Today's the day that we really start to feel some pleasant conditions. Our dew point has dropped down to 51. Our temperature is 61. It feels nice out there, just a touch breezy as you head out the door. Some 50s showing up, 54 in Roxborough and South Hill, 59 in Southern Pine. So it's going to be a beautiful day for us with a high temperature of 75. We're going to talk more about how long our stretch of beautiful weather lasts coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. You're looking live at I-75 in Florida right now, where people are hurrying to leave before Hurricane Milton makes landfall. The National Hurricane Center says Milton is one of the top 5 most intense Atlantic hurricanes since records began. Evacuation orders are in place for counties there. Tampa's mayor is warning people who decide to stay behind in evacuation zones that they will die. She went on to say Helene was a wake-up call, but the threat that Milton brings is literally catastrophic.
Tampa's airport will close at 9 o'clock this morning as people urgently try to get out of that state. Several flights from Tampa flew to RDU last night, where you are looking live right now. Now, people arriving at RDU from Florida say they are relieved to be out of the path of that storm. In addition to Tampa's airport shutting down this morning, St. Petersburg Clearwater Airport closed last night, a smaller regional airport nearby. The Orlando airport plans to close tomorrow morning.
This morning, we'll get an update on recovery efforts from Buncombe County officials. Buncombe County is where Asheville is located. Starting today, county officials will give an update every day at 11 a.m. Governor Roy Cooper will be in western North Carolina today. He will visit Burnsville in Yancey County and Spruce Pine in Mitchell County. He plans to meet with volunteers who are helping with relief efforts. At last check this morning, nearly 120,000 customers are still without power.
The people here in Wake County are working to get supplies together for the people in the mountains. Today is your last chance to send donations through the Wake County Sheriff's Office. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the State Fairgrounds this morning. Kelsey, people have already donated thousands of supplies there.
Jeff, they sure have. And this morning, folks can come here to the state fairgrounds to continue those donations. So the sheriff's office has collected enough items to fill 4 of these 26-footers. That's 10,000 pounds of supplies per truck. And they're looking for your help today in filling up another truck. People have been donating here since last Thursday. And the Wake County Sheriff's Office is accepting non-perishable food items, hygiene products, baby items, and more. They're partnering with law enforcement agencies in Western North Carolina to distribute supplies to people in need.
There's a lot of people that have dropped stuff off that they tell us that they've got family members that are stuck over there. It impacts more than just the individuals that are on the front line, so it's nice that people are being thoughtful and they're sending their support.
You can drop off your donations here in this parking lot that's at the intersection of Blue Ridge Road and Hillsborough Street. The Sheriff's Office is going to be accepting donations today from 8:30 until 4:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we want to thank you for your generosity during our WRAL Cares Telethon. Over the past week, we've helped raise nearly $900,000 from the community, all to directly benefit those affected by Helene in Western North Carolina. You can still add to that number. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to WRAL.com and search help to donate. While you're there, you'll also find a list of other ways you can help support North Carolinians in need.
Today, the DOT will provide an update on a $1 billion project to connect Raleigh to Richmond, Virginia via train. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Raleigh Union Station. Laura, the S-Line rail project will introduce a passenger rail route between these two capital cities.
Good morning, Jeff. Yes, our crews were here as city and state officials broke ground here on the first phase of the overall project. That was back in July. And now we will get an update on where things stand today from the DOT. Taking a look now at this map, which shows you what's in the works. The S-Line rail project will introduce a high-speed passenger rail route between Raleigh and Richmond, Virginia, with stops in Wake Forest, Youngsville, Franklinton, Henderson, and Norlena. Now, the direct route would be cutting about an hour off the current travel time. Today, representatives with the DOT are expected to address the next phase of this project, which is connecting Raleigh to Wake Forest. Now, passenger service is expected to begin around 2029-2030. Today, the city will get an update from the DOT in today's work session, which begins at 4 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News, we're live in Raleigh.
Tonight, Durham Public Schools' new superintendent, Anthony Lewis, wants to hear about your experience with the district. He's hosting a series of meetings to hear directly from DPS families, students, staff, and community members. Tonight's meeting will be at Jordan High School on Garrett Road in Durham. It starts at 6. If you miss this one, there will be another next week at the Mini Fort Brown Staff Development Center.
4:38 the time right now. The Supreme Court is back in session, and today they'll tackle the topic of ghost guns. The arguments they'll hear today about regulations like serial numbers and background checks.
Plus, a South Carolina high school football player and his family find truth in the saying, football is family, after their home was destroyed during Helene.
When something happens, like everybody comes together and helps each other out, because he helped us out a lot.
The helping hand he got from his former football coach.
And we give you this live look at Apex this morning. A rush of fall air out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will explain why that is bailing us out from the worst of Hurricane Milton.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:41, and today is the day that we're going to notice some big changes in our weather pattern. We're cooler. We're going to see lots of sunshine, less humid. 61 right now in Durham and in Raleigh, 63 in Fayetteville. Skies mostly clear out there this morning, and we're going to see that pattern continuing. Heading out the door this morning, feeling nice. We're going to continue to see temperatures falling, so we'll be somewhere between the mid-50s and around 60 at around 8 o'clock this morning, and very comfortable for any exercise or walking the dog this morning. 75, the high temperature this afternoon. Just almost perfect weather out there. Of course, what we'll see from Milton is some cloud cover potentially as we get into late tomorrow, Thursday, and into Friday. But our temperatures will still stay very comfortable. I'll show you coming up.
And while we're talking about Milton, one thing that I brought up here in the WRAL Live Center is this resort cam in Cancun. Good morning, I'm Chris Lovingood. I want to point your attention to a couple of things here on the screen. For one, you can see this the white caps from the ocean there pushing in toward the resort. And then as I move this down here, you can even see the palm trees that are really blowing in the winds that are there right now. And just one last look over here. Again, this is as Milton continues to push toward Florida right now. We have our eyes on quite a few different cameras trying to see as people are in the process of evacuating right now. One of the things I'm going to try to check in the next 15 minutes are any potential impacts this could be having for flights at airports in Florida. So stay with us here and check back in with me again in about 15 minutes. I'll try to bring that for you.
Today, the Supreme Court will be discussing a key case, a dispute over ghost guns. Those are the firearms made from kits available online that can be assembled at home. The guns often have no serial numbers and can't be traced. The arguments will surround the Biden administration's regulation of these guns. It requires companies to add serial numbers, running background checks, and verifying that a buyer is at least 21 years of age. Manufacturers and gun rights groups argue the rule is a government overstep and that it's long been legal to sell gun parts to people.
Mark Robinson will hold a series of town halls today in his campaign for governor. He's scheduled to start in Sampson County at 10:30 and then head to Pender and Columbus counties this afternoon. He'll wrap the day with the town hall in Cumberland County, and that will be at Mac's Speed Shop on McPherson Church Road in Fayetteville at 6 tonight.
Israel is ordering people in southern Gaza to evacuate their homes. That order came after the Israeli military said Hamas fired rockets toward Tel Aviv from that area yesterday. Israel intercepted strikes from several different directions as it marked 1 year since the Hamas attacks started the war. That included missiles from Gaza, Lebanon, and Yemen.
On UNC's campus, observances marking 1 year of the war between Israel and Hamas remained civil. About 100 students who support Palestine held a vigil last night in tribute to the lives that have been lost in the war. And just steps away, students supporting Israel held a separate vigil. They did not allow our cameras to record. Both sides told us they wish to see an end to the violence in the Middle East.
If Palestinians are not given their rights, if Palestinians are not given self-determination, something like another October 7th is going to be inevitable. And it's for peace is only achieved through justice.
I have no doubt that the forces of good will overwhelm and will overcome. And I think we're seeing the flowering of a new Middle East.
The Hamas-led attacks on Israel on October 7th last year killed about 1,200 people. Nearly 50,000 people have died in the war since then.
Next week, jury selection for the most expensive murder trial in history, U.S. history, will begin in Indiana. Richard Allen is accused of murdering Abby Williams and Libby German on a trail in Delphi, Indiana in 2017. Officials in Carroll County there are preparing for the trial, which is expected to cost more than $4 million. There are several reasons for the high cost, including the length of the trial, housing and transportation for the jury, and increasing attorney fees. Plus, the county has increased security in and around the courthouse for this high-profile case. Jury selection starts Monday.
Amazon Prime Day starts today. While shoppers hunt for deals, scammers are also on the hunt to steal your money. 5 on Your Side is here to help you avoid that. Here are the scams to watch out for. Phishing emails or texts. Scammers may send fake Amazon emails or texts with deals or account issues. Avoid clicking links. Go directly to Amazon's website. Unverified sellers. While Amazon has many trusted third-party sellers, scammers are also present. Always check seller ratings and reviews and be cautious if a seller has few or none. Fake Amazon websites. Scammers create fake websites to steal your info. Always check the URL and for the padlock symbol to confirm it's the official Amazon site before buying.
We are starting to see a lot of attackers using artificial intelligence to write their emails, to create their websites. And from an attacker perspective, that gives them the benefit of creating websites that have a much more professional look and feel. Those grammatical errors and typos are a thing of the past.
Remember to stay vigilant. Once scammers get your money, it is often difficult to recover.
In parts of Avery County, it could be at least a month until the power is back up. Driveways and homes are covered in mud and roads are washed out or covered in debris. First responders tell WRAL they are working at least 16 hours a day. At least 4 people are dead in this community and 4 others are missing. The sheriff tells us they are transitioning into recovery mode this week. They brought in a mobile morgue before the storm just as a precaution.
A South Carolina high school football player whose family's home was destroyed by Helene is finding truth in the saying that football is family after his former coach stepped in to help. Kamari Cannon has lived in Malden, South Carolina all his life. That's about 15 minutes from Greenville. His home was destroyed after a massive tree fell on it during Helene. While his family deals with the challenges of recovery, a connection formed through football provided for them in their time of need. Kamari's former coach, Gunter Langston, and his wife, Darby, welcomed the family into their home.
Love is a verb, so when people are in need, the Cannons are good people, and good things happen to good people, and sometimes God puts you in a position to be the good thing to happen.
The Cannon family doesn't know when they'll be home again, but they say they're thankful to have a community that loves them and is willing to help out. 4:48 now, and we're already getting new information from the 5 o'clock advisory for Hurricane Milton. And Elizabeth, once again, this has rapidly intensified.
And we're looking at Cat 4 right now. So we're looking at the storm moving northeast at 12 miles per hour. So not much change between the 2 o'clock advisory and the 5 o'clock advisory. It was Cat 4 then. It is likely to become Cat 5. Right now it has winds at 155, 157 would be Cat 5. So it's sitting right there just on the line and definitely having some major impacts on the northern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. It will continue to push northward, potentially, moving back and forth between Cat 4 and Cat 5. But you can see as we get into the day on Wednesday, mostly Cat 4, and then potentially it weakens to Cat 3. So wind shear is when we have winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere and it tears the top of the storm off and it keeps it from developing or strengthening any further. And so that may happen as it gets closer to land. But still, because this is such a huge storm, it's going to be able to pick up a lot of water ahead of it and push it onshore. And so even if it's Cat 3, it's still going to cause devastating storm surge along the coast of Florida. It continues to move on out into the Atlantic toward Bermuda as a tropical storm as we get into the weekend. And we'll see minimal impacts here in North Carolina. So, of course, there's a hurricane warning along the coast of Florida there at 10 to 15 feet. This is an upgrade from yesterday. Yesterday, at this point, we were talking about 8 to 10 foot storm surge. Now we're talking about 10 to 15 from Tampa southward. This is an area that, as you saw, we had the live view of the interstate there. People are evacuating. There's going to be a lot of damage in that part of Florida. Around here, just the opposite. We're just looking at a beautiful day today. 61 degrees. Our temperature right now, our dew point has dropped down to 51, so that's very comfortable. Around town, 75 in Raleigh, 73 Durham, 77 in Fayetteville. Lots and lots of sunshine for us today. We're going to continue to see the cool air taking hold of much of the eastern part of the country, signified there in the blue color contours. It's going to be really nice for us. We may warm up slightly on Sunday, but we're going to have some chilly mornings. Look at this, 46 on Friday morning. That'll be the coolest temperature we've seen in 167 days, so be ready for that. It's going to be cool in the afternoons, too. 76 is our normal high. We'll keep it below normal up until Saturday. We're still looking at 78, but 68 on Thursday. So Thursday and Thursday night will be the coolest that we see. Looking at 47 degrees on Friday morning, 48 on Saturday morning, 49 again on Tuesday morning. So a little warmer on Sunday, but generally we're going to have quiet weather. Notice that we have cloud cover showing up here for Thursday. That's going to be some cloud cover from Milton, and we'll talk a little bit more about what we can see on our coast coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Lots going on there. Panera Bread, meantime, has settled the first of several lawsuits tied to the chain's charged lemonade drink. The risks victims say the drink poses to people with heart conditions.
And the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher is excited for spooky season. The event's planned during the fall months for you and the family to enjoy.